in the afternoon, in the searing 40 degrees of the Sharjah heat. It's going to be match number 46, Mumbai taking on Delhi, the two metro cities going head to head, and how differently they are placed at this end of the tournament. But we'll come to the next game, which is match number 47. We'll come to that later. First, Harsha, Mumbai versus Delhi. Not quite like we have on this show. It's little Gurgaon versus Mumbai, but we won't get into that for the moment. But it's two teams placed very differently. Delhi have now got that cue. Mumbai are in a position where they're on a slippery slope, but have got the relief of seeing Punjab's 2 points.
Yeah, only two teams can get to 16 now. That is Mumbai and Bangalore. They're the only two teams that can get to 16. So therefore, Delhi are clear with 16. But I think that there should be a little thank you note being sent to Punjab and Kolkata from Mumbai, because some other result has kept them alive. We did say at the start that Kolkata held their fortune in their own hands. They no longer do. And Mumbai's fortune lay in Kolkata dropping a game and themselves winning 3 games. Now, Mumbai are exactly where Kolkata were, with their fate in their own hands. If they win all 3, they go through. But who are they up against? They're up against a team that's qualified. A little blip in their last game, Delhi. But Mumbai beat Delhi, then suddenly they're knocking on the door, because that's a big game to overcome. Delhi beat Mumbai, then Joy will tell you that the dispensations in Kolkata and Delhi have rarely matched. But in this case, Kolkata will go to Delhi and say Dhanyavad.
Yeah, that doesn't happen often, Joy.
No, it doesn't. Correct. I know. Yeah. Before this, we had 33 years of left front rule. And after that, with the current government, it's about 40 years that they haven't spoken to each other. Just look at today's result also. I mean, firstly, Delhi first losing to Kolkata. And then you realize that that's not such an unexpected result because of the conditions and what has happened. And I think even Mumbai is getting a good chance to play against. If you have to play Delhi, I think they'd like to play Delhi at Sharjah. Sharjah is a pitch in which Delhi is perhaps the most uncomfortable.
Well, if that's the match.
You say that they've got Akshar, Ashwin. Who will Mumbai play? But short boundaries, Hardik and Pollard can keep clearing the boundary. Who else do they have? Delhi? Yeah, they don't have. Who are their big hitters? Hetmeyer maybe, who's clearing the boundary. You need to clear the boundary at all. Is Sharjah becoming a sort of 140 kind of game? In which case you don't need to clear the boundary. So yeah, last time they played Steve Smith, didn't they?
Yeah. See, they like the ball coming on. It didn't work for them. I think the one change that I almost see, I'd be surprised if they don't do it, is play Amit Mishra. Sharjah is made for Amit Mishra. It's just made for him. It's a pitch that they create and they look at Amit Mishra and ask him permission before they make it. So, I would play him ahead of Lalit Yadav because I think they have enough batting anyway. If they were not going to do with 7 bats, they're not going to do it with 8. But
and Joy, he's the kind of person, Amit Mishra, who has no problem, no ego issues. You say that, okay, this is the surface made for you. Come and pick up a hat-trick here, pick up 4 wickets. You're not playing the next game, by the way. No problem.
Still the second highest wicket taker in the history of the tournament. Still, in spite of being in and out for the last couple of years. So it's interesting you're saying Amit Mishra for Lalit Yadav. That means you've got an Akshar batting at 6. Right? So Akshar 6, Ashwin 7 and Rabada 8. That kind of lineup. So you've got 3 quicks. Unless you leave out one of the quicks and play this guy and then play a batsman.
Yeah, it might just be Nokia or Ravish Khan who misses out and say, you play 3 Indians, 3 international cricketers, it doesn't matter.
They've done that.
And say that, let Nokia rest for a bit and let's give it, because I really think they have to play a good spin on this pitch. 12 overs of spin between Ashwin Aksar and Amit Mishra is going to make it very difficult. And then maybe Lalit Yadav gives you another couple, if you're playing with that kind of a combination. Suddenly that game looks very, very different, because I think last time they were overmatched. They didn't like the Kolkata spin. They didn't like the ball not coming on. And somewhere Prithvi is also losing his concentration. I think the second half of the tournament has not been Prithvi as we saw him in the first part of the tournament.
Yeah. Is he fit though? I wonder what the status on his fitness is. He twisted that ankle, so they'll want him up there. Because Prithvi plays 3-4 overs, he's giving you a start.
Yeah, they were found wanting under those conditions, with Stephen Smith trying to slot in there and Prithvi missing. So if the fitness is right, once you get to that playoff stage, and we know that Delhi have a queue next to them, it's going to be vital for them. But they're up against a side now desperate to win. They're not going to take their feet off the accelerator at all, are Delhi, because they haven't got the Q1, Q2 guaranteed. But for Mumbai, Harsha, this is when they need to get their 11 absolutely right. Nathan Coulter-Nile, good replacement for you last time around?
And took the pace off and did really well. So straight away, what he also does is they like that striker at number 8. So Nathan Coulter-Nile can be that striker at number 8. So they'll be very happy with Coulter-Nile. They might just take a call on Trent Bolt actually to see if the conditions are suiting him. But generally, Mumbai are not known to make too many changes. What we do know, and I think there was something that Jayawardene said today maybe, that I don't see Hardik bowling too much more, because he said it might affect his overall fitness and lose the batsman in Hardik Pandya, which opens up a completely new debate on his role in the Indian side. But if he's not going to play, then they're stuck with 5 bowlers. Whether he can bowl or not is not something we'll look at. Something we'll look at on a daily basis. At the moment, if we push too hard, it might be an issue where he might even struggle and not be an asset as a batsman. I think that is the line that you have to look at. If we push too hard, it might be an issue where he may not be an asset as a batsman. And I think the whole thing is geared towards resting him to play for that T20 World Cup. The question is now whether he will have enough bowling behind him, and is he going to bowl in the T20 World Cup, and whether if he doesn't bowl, there is a replacement for him at number 6. I think you've got to look far and wide to see a batsman like him at number 6. So that's for another day maybe. But tomorrow I don't see him bowling.
Yeah, I think it's again we talked about different roles for different sides.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I mean, maybe for Team India, you can say that he does fit in with a role even as a pure batsman, because he's played that for us in the past. Maybe he doesn't necessarily fit that in a franchise team, because you could have a replacement for him with that extra bowling option.
Or the other way round, in a Mumbai team, on the slow surface in Sharjah, Kieron Pollard will give you 2 overs. What did he say the other day? I may not have pace, swing or seam, but I have brains. So he could give you 2 overs. The moment you go to India, there is nobody in the top 5 who can give you even 1 over. And that is where the problem lies with the balance. That is why Hardik is being given such a long rope. Hardik and Jadeja 6 and 7 is key to the balance of that side. So that is why they're giving him such a long rope. But for this Sharjah game, I think they'll be happy playing the same side with Pollard giving them a couple of overs if required.
And
there's one change I was thinking about. I was thinking about what change could you do given the circumstances. And the only 2 that came to mind, and the first seems a bit more likely, is to play Jayant Yadav instead of, say, a Trent Bolt.
You answered my question before I asked it.
But the only thing is that I'm just looking at the Delhi batting unit, and there aren't too many left-handers up front. There aren't that many left-handers up there in the order. So, except for Hetmeyer, I don't think anyone in the top 6 is left-handed. So,
Shikhar Dhawan.
Shikhar Dhawan. There. 2 of them are there. 2 of the top 6 are left-handed.
And
Pant.
Oh yes, of course. Okay, Jayant Yadav comes into play. My apologies. Jayant Yadav definitely comes into play. I would look seriously at Sharjah at Jayant Yadav, because he bats a bit also. Therefore, he gives him a bit more, and take off that bowler. Open with this thing. You have Nathan Coulter-Nile out there. You have Jasprit Bumrah. You have some good spin. The only problem then is they don't have a third seamer. Pollard being their whatever little third seam that they can do. That is something I'm not sure Bombay is totally comfortable with as a team.